What's up?
What's up?
How are you?
Good.
There you go, Raddick. All right, I guess I'll start. Almost back in the swing of things, so to speak, but what does this tournament mean to sort of get back together as a group and have some laughs before training camp?
Well, I mean, it's a wonderful event to connect the past to the present. But more importantly for me, it signifies how close we are to getting started and the excitement that goes with that.
Coach, what was I know you want to put the past behind you, move forward, but what did you take? Like, what was the biggest lesson you took from last year? If you can pinpoint it.
Yeah, I would say how much the Bruins fans are passionate and everything, because like I play golf where outside of Massachusetts and I'd get friendly bounces. The trees were mad at me. I'd go right further into the bush when I hit the trees with my golf shots.
Any progress on an assistant coach?
Yeah, we're really close. I can expect an announcement next week.
In terms of a captain, any closer to announcing that at this point?
No, not any closer. I think same thing. I think we're trending in the right direction towards having someone be our captain next year.
Is that something that you'd like to announce before training camp, during training camp?
You know, I think we've had internal conversations, and I think, decisions will be made. I don't know if there's a timeline yet decided.
How does that process
So you do
go,
expect to
Steve?
have a captain, somebody with, say, a set of a committee?
Correct, I think we do, yes.
What
I
makes
think
a
we have
good,
enough real good leaders that we could have a captain that can lead us.
what makes a good captain in your mind?
Someone that is confident in who they are, someone that isn't afraid to put his arm around a teammate and also hold a teammate accountable, and also not afraid to come in my office and hold me accountable to what he believes I'm doing the right things towards the team. I think he's the go-between the players and the coaches, and he's got to be comfortable communicating with everybody.
You feel like
And you guys, like being able to, be there every day to, for you guys to have a source that has a pulse of the team and who's the leader of our team.
you feel like you have a lot of candidates in that move to fill that role?
I do. I mean, we lost a lot of leadership people last year. We just didn't lose Bergie. We lost Crates. We lost Foligno. So players that were very important. But everyone's watched those players, especially Bergie, for years, and there's a lot of players that have word spoke to me for a long time to care about culture, how we compete, and how we carry ourselves.
Going back to what you were saying about being confident in yourself, I mean, obviously, some big shoes to fill. You had Chara, then Bergeron, and this captain, whoever he is filling in some big shoes. How do you help them find that balance of, emulating what they learned from those guys, but also becoming their own captain?
Well, it's them being themselves, their understanding and pride in being a Bruin, which we have so many. We have Luch back too that we haven't even talked about, right? And I think lastly is just getting comfortable. Everyone's going to have an adjustment. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have an adjustment with whoever the captain is because I had a relationship with Bergie that's going to be different with them. It's no different than when you're working at work. You have colleagues that you communicate with differently, and some you have to listen more to, and some you have to, maybe you're the talker more, right? Like with Bergeron, it was 50-50. I may have to talk more with this person because they're looking for a little more guidance than maybe Bergeron was because it's their first time being a captain of the Boston Bruins. I mean, that's just working on your relationship and both of you being open-minded and communicating.
Kind of no shortage of players that you fit in there in the third and fourth line. What kind of identity are you looking for out of that bottom six this year?
Players that are going to have an impact on games, that are going to make us better and relish their roles. Like you lose guys. I already talked about some of the guys we lost, but we lost Nosek. I stuck him out there on defensive zone draws. He got a bad hand dealt by me, but he loved it and relished it, and he moved the puck from the D zone to the offensive zone. You need players like that aren't going to worry about how they're being used, but care about how they're helping the team win.
Jim, based on what you saw from league-wide last year, and maybe you're talking to other coaches, can you see anything coming down the road for this year in terms of league-wide trends, offense, defense, anything?
Yeah. I have spoken to a lot of coaches, and I think, we all expect the scoring to stay where it is, but I think coaches are already trying to figure out how to stop the scoring. It's easier to figure out how to stop the scoring than to increase the scoring. But that being said, the way the skill level is in the game and the way people can skate, you make a mistake, there's going to be a 2-on-1, there's going to be an odd man rush for either team. So I think the offense is going to keep up. And offense in football, in basketball, doesn't matter what sport, it sells more tickets. So, and I like offense better than I like defensive games anyway, so it's good for me.
Coach, you look at the center position in the top 6. It looks like it's Zaka or Coyle. For each of those, why would Zaka be a good number 1, and why would Coyle be a good number 1?
Well, because they both can handle a lot of minutes. Both of them are coming into believing who they are and how they need to play, regardless of who they're playing with, of how they bring success to the Bruins and how they impact games at both ends of the ice. So we're really comfortable, especially after seeing them in big games in games 3 and 4, play 19 to 20 minutes and play as well as they did. Now, I'm hoping they don't have to play 20 minutes a night, but we know they can handle that, and that they can handle all 3 zones of work.
Are you expecting a different identity for that fourth line this year? Maybe each there, and we know what he brings.
Not really, no. I think Pasta won't get hit as much, Marchie won't get hit as much because Luch is in the lineup. But I'm still going to want Luch to be a person that decides momentum in the games because, going out there, his line after goals scored against or for, carrying the momentum of the team, recognizing, when we're losing momentum, going out there, making a big hit or getting to the net front, crashing the net. Kind of very similar things that Foligno did for us, but probably because of his history here, carrying more weight within that role, as far as how he impacts, especially at home.
You had Lauko win his job out of camp last year. But this year, do you sense that there will be more general competition, that there are more jobs up for that?
There's no doubt there's way more jobs up for that are open, right? And competition is great. And I do think that we are all hoping that there's going to be pleasant surprises, that are going to make the team kind of like Lauko did and AJ Gerd did out of camp last year.
Speaking of that competition, you've got veterans you brought in and younger guys. How do you like that balance in that competition?
Well, we like the balance because, Don Sweeney gives us the opportunity to put the best team on the ice that's going to help us win the most games. And whether it's a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, or a 29-year-old, it could be a 31-year-old. I don't know everyone's ages. But if they give us the best opportunity to win, they're the ones that are going to be in the lineup.
Did you lobby for Danton Heinen? Obviously got a history with them.
No, obviously, I have a lot of confidence in Dan Heinen because I know the player and the person, but I didn't have to lobby. I mean, he's someone who played third line on Team won the Stanley Cup Finals in 2019. So there's a lot of people in the organization that, are Dan Heinen fans.
You still return a lot of the same defense in last year, getting this and Jeremy back. You still find like the foundation of your team's success is still intact. There's a lot of the turnover up front.
I think with who our goalies are and with our D-core, we're clearly in the top of the league in those departments. And, it's probably going to rely a lot more on our D-men as far as how we play and our team identity, of them having more of an impact at all 200 feet of the ice. Not only scoring, but also we had 4 centers last year that all knew how we played our D-zone, right? So we killed a lot of plays because of them. We might need them to kill a lot more plays in the offensive zone or in the neutral zone with their skating ability and their hockey sense and competitive level, so we don't end up in our D zone because we don't have those same layers coming back. Those are things that we think that we can ask our D core to do and that they would probably want to do.
Centennial season for the Bruins. How incredible is it from your professional and personal standpoint to know that you are going to be a part of this season here?
Well, it's humbling. It's something that I'm very grateful for. But at the same time, I noticed it last year, like when I came to this event last year and I saw how many alums were here and how many great players there were, and I knew them all. I'm a little bit of a hockey historian, so I knew them all. But at the same time, I'd never been part of Original Six, and it started here and it carried throughout the year. Like, didn't matter where we traveled to, we saw black and gold in the stands and what.
What'd you think of the 100 list?
You know, I haven't looked at it that thoroughly, I gotta be honest. I know that, yeah, I can't tell you who's in the top 10, I can't tell you who's in the bottom 10, so I can't really make an intelligent comment on it.
That's a good guess, though.
Top 10 I could guess. I got to play with 2 of them this summer golf, so that was a thrill in and of itself.
Which 2 was that?
Bork and Orr.
Ooh, wow.
I'm not familiar names here.
They might be, yeah.
Just kind of piggybacking on Fluto's question about the evolution of the game, and what about you for yourself? How do you feel you're evolving for year 2 here?
Well, you're just a lot more comfortable in your surroundings. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm going to Warrior, going to TD Garden, interacting with the players. Like, I know 3/4 of the players now, you know, like, it's not a get-to-know process. Like, I spent this week getting to know the guys like Luch, JVR, you know, Shattenkirk, you know, and other players that are already new to the team, or it's Geeky and Brown. You know, it's a lot easier to get to know 5 to 8 players than it is, you know, 25, 30.
Coach, Jake DeBrusk, a lot has happened to him in the past 2 years. It looked like he might have been out of here in a trade, but he seemed to be able to put all that aside and really, I would say, step to another level on the ice. A lot of people are wondering what he'll do without Bergeron. Why do you think he can still continue to do what he's doing without Bergeron?
He's going into the prime of his career. I think he's ready to be a go-to player, and not a complimentary player, but a player that drives line. And you know, him and I have spoken a lot about that. That, you know, say he was really good for us for 90% of the games. Well, Bergeron, I could rely on 100% of the games. There's 10% that needs to be made up, right? And he's got to carry a little bit of that weight. Now, not only him, but a lot of others. But I think mentally he wants that, and he's ready for it.
Thanks.
We're good.